What's up, folks? And we're back
What's going on?
episode 4 of the Puff Pass podcast with my man Sean. We got some very special guests, man.
Very
good to be here, man. Appreciate it.
A little something different for y'all today, for real.
Fred, you know what I'm saying? What's happening? Off
Fred's
air.
off camera, but he's here and he's dope.
Yeah, definitely excited for this one, man. Like, as far as getting Fred in the house today, you know what I mean? Because I know we're definitely gonna have a lot to talk about today. Sure. Definitely appreciate all the support so far. You guys on?
Nah, bro. Thanks for having me. Like, just appreciate the opportunity. I really like what you guys are doing, as far as just linking everybody up. Because I think there's so many of us are working on separate things, and it's important to have something centralized to really highlight the different things that everybody is doing.
Right.
So you guys got something great right here.
Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. Definitely would like to kind of introduce, how, and tell everybody how we kind of, met each other and all that. You know what I mean? Like, I remember, I think Sandy came out. Shout out to Sandman.
Definitely shout out to the Sandman.
Like,
definitely.
She invited me to a brunch. You came as well, and then kicked it off, you know what I mean? And then
we hit it off because of the Merino infantry.
Oh yeah,
that's why we hit it off.
Yeah, saw you had the Merino shirt,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Shouts to Addy.
Shouts out to YG Addy, you know what I mean? Like, so right from there, I was like, yo, I know we could share the same interests as far as probably fashions, also the same music, you know what I mean? So that was cool. And then probably a month or two later, had the New York
it was
trip.
A month later. It was the end of September. Ended up seeing each other in New York.
Yeah.
Shouts to Sandman again, because that was her party.
Out in Brooklyn. That party was crazy, wasn't it?
Williamsburg, Brooklyn. That was my first time ever being in Williamsburg. I've been to Brooklyn a couple of times, but where we were at that time, that was just beautiful.
Yeah, man. Williamsburg, dude, that was definitely a different type of living over there, man. And that spot where it was, dude,
that was motivation. That's all I could call it.
It was incredible. It was definitely an inspiring, type of atmosphere, type of vibe that was going on. But I remember that time we definitely got to chop it up a little bit more. You had Fred with you, you know what I'm saying, and then you guys, I think you definitely intro me into what you guys are, what you got going on. I started to realize you guys got some pretty cool shit you guys are working on.
I appreciate it. Appreciate it.
For sure. I know you definitely told me about it. What is it? Like, I know it's like an educational program you guys got going on.
Yeah, so the first thing that I want to talk about is really the education website that we have going. So me and my brother Fred, what we've been working on for a little while now is we tried to fix a problem that we saw, an issue. It kind of goes back to a personal issue that I experienced when I was in college. I went to Towson University. But one of the things that I always saw was that kids had an issue as far as selecting their major. A lot of people end up switching majors a few times. I know that myself, I didn't even select my major personally until my second year. And the way that I selected my major was I actually had a professor just kind of make a recommendation to me. So really what I was lacking at the time was I just needed somebody to guide me. I needed like a little bit of advising.
Yes.
So just based off of the problem that we saw, so many of us go through life and just go through the world. We don't necessarily have the support system that we had, that a lot of other people have. And the support system that we need, a lot of us lack the confidence to take chances. So what we want to do with this website is we want to introduce kids, students, learners of all ages. We want to introduce them to different subjects and ideas that they might not necessarily encounter until later in life, because we just want to inspire the youth to go ahead and push forward, especially on those things that they might not even see themselves doing. A lot of people talk about representation being important, whether it's for little girls, whether it's for black boys, but there's a shortage of us in a lot of the more higher academic advanced fields and the sciences. And if we can just introduce each other to those things that we're not going to see until we get to college, that's what we want to fill in and do. Definitely. So that's the basics of the website. And that's really where the inspiration came from.
What's the website for us?
So it's moreknowledge.com. It's a play on words, more, Moore, knowledge.com. And it's a subscription-based website. And the second half of what we're doing outside of just interviewing experts and professionals is we're also trying to raise money for students who are going to college.
Yeah.
So this year we actually selected someone who just graduated from a local high school. He's studying kinesiology at Morehouse College, which is an HBCU.
That's sick.
So we ended up raising a little bit of money. We sent him a check for his books, and we want to do that every single semester. We want to find someone, we want to support them, and we just want to keep them pushing towards their educational goals.
Yeah, man, that's awesome, dude. That's inspirational. You know what I mean? As far as like you're giving back, you know, to the community, and it's something that's important too, which is education. You know what I mean? Not many people understand the importance of education. And I remember, you know, when I was there at that time as a college student, thinking like, damn, like where do I start? You know what I mean? So as far as, you know, you guys bringing, you know, some of these different, you know, concentrations to the light, and having experts come on and tell people how, you know, to actually pursue it is amazing, dude. So like, definitely shouts out to you guys, man.
I think sometimes you just need that first step, you know. Right. Like a lot of times people think that, you know, you got to sit somebody down, you got to train them for 2 years. It doesn't even take that. You know, sometimes you just need to have a conversation with somebody and just give them the confidence that they can do it.
Yeah,
that's true. That's really true, though.
And that comes to anything. It's not just education. It's not just jobs. Even what you guys are doing, you know. There might be a kid who's sitting at home and he might love the hell out of podcasts, but he's never seen himself or herself. Let's be fair about it, you know.
Definitely.
They might not see themselves doing it, but just by looking at you guys, they might get inspired and they might just feel like they're able to do it. So that's what it's really about.
Definitely.
So what you guys are doing is just important as what we're doing, you know.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, definitely appreciate that.
You know what I mean? So as far as like this program, how long have you guys been doing this? How long has it been? You know what I'm saying? How long have you been, like, actually, when you guys started, like, what popped that idea in your head as far as like, yo, like, we got to pull the trigger, like, what? And also kind of like, what were the first steps about getting people involved?
So that's a really good question. So I think before I even get into the actual website, I think I just have to speak about, you know, where I was in life at the time.
For sure.
So I was working, you know, office job, and I think that for a lot of us, we do so many things when we're younger. You know, we play sports, we're involved in all these extracurricular activities. You go to college, you join clubs and different things like that. But for a lot of us, once you kind of get out of school, you just don't know what the hell you want to do.
Exactly.
And that was kind of where I was with it. I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do next. And I mean, you can put in only but so much overtime at the job. You still have to find a way you still need outlets. You get what I'm saying? So I thought about what it was that I could really bring to the table. You know, what can I do to help out the next person? What can I do to continue to, you know, grow in the areas that are important to me? And education did so much for me when I was growing up. Kind of really gave me my identity, you know? Like I was like a nerdy kid in school, to be honest with you. Like I was always studying. You know, I didn't even go to a party when I was in high school, and I didn't really start blossoming and getting into other things until I got to college. And college really did a lot for me outside of the education. Mm-hmm. You know, I think a lot of people, when they talk about college, you know, they just think about class, but I was doing all types of different things in college. I was going to the Baltimore Hebrew Institute lectures, you know, like a part of the Jewish community, you know, at the college. And I was always searching for different things that I could be doing. Mm-hmm. So kind of when I got out of college, once I graduated, I was searching again, and I just looked inside myself, and I was like, let me get back to what really made me who I was. Mm-hmm. And that was learning different things. That was, you know, just focusing on education and trying to better myself. And that's why I think this was what was most important to me. I mean, I tried a few different things, but this is what really stuck.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and also what I love about it too, it's like, as you know, as good as the cause that is for education, you definitely put your own type of style and twist to it, which is also, you know, which also makes it, you know, just as more dope. You know what I mean? Like, I see you definitely have a pretty distinct style. You know what I mean? Like,
but that jacket's
So look, man, before we even get into the actual jacket itself, I just have to give a shout out to a certain particular culture. Mm-hmm. I gotta give a shout out to the British culture, the road boy look. You get what I'm saying? Windbreaker pants, Air Max 95s, and then definitely shouts to Baltimore and the DMV area with the New Balances.
I was just gonna say,
you know, and that's really what the inspiration came from. Mm-hmm. And actually, back when I was in high school, one of the first things that I started getting into was I started collecting vintage jackets, like vintage windbreakers. And there's actually they're on Instagram now. It's called F is in Frank Vintage.
Okay.
It's a real dope
F is in
Instagram
Frank.
page. You definitely want to check them out. But I actually made my first purchase from F is in Frank in like 2008. And I bought a Houston Oilers starter jacket and ended up getting caught up in Canadian customs.
Wow.
And that was really how like I got my start. And I just loved that culture.
Yeah.
My mom was, and half of my family was actually raised in England. So I just always had appreciation for the road boy look, and it really influenced my style.
So
Definitely, that's awesome, man.
But this tracksuit that I'm wearing right now, though, this is just a project that I've been working on since 2016. Always had love for tracksuits, and this is just something that I really wanted to perfect. You know, it's 2019. I've been taking my time, making little adjustments, but ultimately, I want to make, you know, the perfect tracksuit that I would have wanted to make.
So would you say it's perfected at this point?
No, so this this is actually one of the earlier prototypes. I think this is like the second prototype that I came out with.
What's the 97 signified?
So 1997, you listen to Dom Kennedy, don't you?
Of course. Oh, yeah.
So 1997.
West Side with Love?
Yeah, so
Word.
1997 by Dom Kennedy is actually my favorite song. That was like a song that I just
that's the one that's
listened to.
like,
Yeah. In 1997, I wrote my first rhyme. I want to marry you is what I told my first dime.
Yeah, I remember that shit.
Yeah, so that was a song that was a song I just used to bump all the time when I was younger. So that's what the big inspiration
That's
is.
awesome.
Cool, man.
That's awesome.
And 1997 is also the last year that I was back home in Jamaica before I came to America.
Gotcha.
So it's just a real important number. It's always been a number in my life.
Were you raised out? So no, you weren't. How long did you live in Jamaica?
Till I was 5.
So you were 5. So you were out there for a minute.
You go back out there often?
Yeah, so I actually used to go back every single year to like spend the summers with my grandmother. She passed away when I was 13, and then after that, you know, I just kind of go back. But I went back in 2016, I believe, and that was like my first time going back and just trying to immerse myself in the culture, learn more about my own culture. And ever since then, you know, it's been really important for me to just try to get back to my roots, you know?
Yeah, man.
That's cool, man.
For sure. But yeah, definitely, you know, from when I met you the first time, could definitely tell you had a distinct style. Could definitely tell you're definitely a culture baby. You know, I consider myself a culture baby that, you know, always, whether it be, you know, I'm involved in skateboarding culture, you know, streetwear culture, just the music. I know skateboarding definitely brought me to a lot of different music, a lot of different, you know, fashion styles and all that. But definitely love what you got going on there with the, you know, the England road boy look, or whether it be like the New York breakdance look, or b-boy look, you know what I'm saying, or dope boy look, whatever.
Even skateboarding though, bro. Like skateboarding did something for me too. Like I just never could figure out how to ollie. Just to be funny, I could never figure out how to ollie, but I was into the skateboard culture, and my first job was actually at the van store.
Wow, okay.
My first job was actually at the van in White Marsh Mall.
White Marsh.
Yeah, it was my first job, and I learned how to build skateboards.
Yeah,
and
apply the grip tape.
Apply the grip tape and everything, and that's actually how I met. Because I know that eventually we'll start talking about, you know, the local music and art scene. But it was while I was working at the van store that I met like an older head who really ended up mentoring me. But he took me to a lot of like the artsy places. I ended up at the Billions of Currency store premiere. I ended up at like City of Gods and different things, just following this guy around. Yeah. And he was into skateboarding. So, you know, I used to wear like DGK all the time.
Stuff,
I used to look into like Terry Kennedy and different things like that. So skateboarding, that might have been like the first like culturally cool thing that I really got into, to be honest with you.
That's dope. So like for him to have done that, like how was that first interaction y'all had for like y'all to kick off that type of relationship though? Like how did that occur? Like, oh, you know what I'm saying? Like,
and to be honest with you, I don't even remember. But one of the things that really stuck out to me, I think, was I used to stick out like a sore thumb. You get what I'm saying? Like the people who I used to work with in the van store, definitely, you know, Nike SBs and different things like that. And I remember they had to give me a pair of Vans. Because I showed up, I'm wearing like, you know, Jordans. You get what I'm saying?
Like, no,
wearing
you can't
Jordans
do
like
that.
You can't wear that.
You gotta
in
wear
here.
Vans on.
You get what I'm saying? So it just kind of introduced me, and you know, I know we'll also end up getting into this, but I'm not even gonna lie to you. Like at the time when I was younger, I was somebody who kind of bought into the, you know, you're black, you can only do this. You get what I'm saying? Like, skateboarding isn't for us type of thing. And
Right.
kind of made me uncomfortable, but just being in that situation around people of different cultures and seeing like, oh no, skateboarding is something that's universal.
Oh yeah.
That really got me started in just having a better understanding of different things that we can do. It opened up a lot of doors for me.
Definitely. I mean, you can ask Jordan. With me, I was big into skateboarding when I was like in 7th grade. And back in the day, yo, I used to rock the crew pants. I used to rock the tight pants, yo. Long ass shirts, some tight ass crew pants, big bulky ass skateboard shoes. I go into White Marsh Mall, niggas looking at me like I'm crazy. You know what I'm saying? But now, flashback 10 years later, you know what I mean?
You were ahead of your time.
The tight pants and all that shit. But that was literally what that culture was. That's what the little white boys, the little kids was rocking. You know what I'm saying? Like the crew pants, that was cool in that little culture. And it's crazy how now like all pieces, hip hop culture is definitely highly influenced by the skateboard culture. It's all shook up. I've been brought just by watching skate parks, different crazy genres of music. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
So it's wild how culture in general, whether it be anything, like you said, you go into like the Jewish classes, right?
Yeah.
Like that. You know what I'm saying? Like it's great to how you can get that mixed together and people taking knowledge from that and kind of changing maybe their negative opinion on something. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's awesome, man. But I definitely want to talk more about this brand you got going on because I know it's a lot. You got a lot in the works with it. Like,
yeah, definitely. So before I really get into the brand, I got to talk about 3500 Andretti.
Okay.
Which is an Instagram page that I'm building right now. It's an art page, art house, if you will. But the inspiration behind it, I took a trip to France last year, and the people who I met when I was out in France, they just taught me so much, and it was so different how they moved over there. Mm-hmm. They all supported each other. They were from different neighborhoods in France. And even though, this person was a rapper, this person was a producer, this person was a photographer, they all just supported each other. And I really was inspired by that, and I brought it back with me.
Who'd you go out there with to France?
So I went by myself, actually. And these were people who I met through Instagram. And the only reason why they followed me was because I used to post all of my vintage jackets.
Yeah.
So it's crazy how things are like, years in the making, like I'm on Instagram in 2010, 2011, like, Tommy Hilfiger jacket, Nautica jacket, vintage polo,
Dude.
And I even ended up linking with, not in person, but I even ended up making a good connection online with somebody from Denmark who used to wear nothing but polo sport. I'm wearing vintage Nautica. He's wearing nothing but polo sport. So it's amazing how, technology and just a love for, fashion and style can connect people on a global level. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of how I ended up going to France. But I was just inspired by how they supported each other. And really, the biggest person who I was influenced by when I was out there was actually a photographer. You can look him up. It's Bex 3x4, BEKS.
Okay.
3x4. And what he does is he takes all photos on vintage cameras, like almost on disposable film, and that's just a look that they have out there.
I see Fred over there taking his pics with the disposable camera.
Fred's got his photos with the disposable camera.
I see that.
I kind of took the inspiration from France, and then I brought it back here. So what I've done is I'm taking photos of just all the good people who I'm around, anybody who's doing anything, I'm posting it. And I'm just trying to link everybody up.
That's sick. That's what it's all about, man. It's all about that community, you know what I'm saying? And just getting everybody together. I feel like there's too much individual people just worried about what they got going on. But we can all help each other get, you know what I'm saying? We can all help each other get to where we want to go, where we, you know what I'm saying? And where we need to go.
Those be the same people. It's they know they got something going on. So it's they expect everybody to drop what they doing and support them, but they be the same ones that don't always want to give back. And it's you said,
that's true.
Because some people, it's their egos get in the way. It's I got 5,000 followers, I got 25,000 followers. Now you're thinking I'm halfway to celebrity. You feel me? So they start thinking they above people. So and so wanted to do a collab on this, but they feel like they above collabing with you or something because you're not of their clout level, if you will. But it's so much easier, like you said, to just link all the pieces together. You never know you're gonna meet, do networking. I've done tons of free photo shoots, and I've met some dope ass people and created some dope opportunities for me.
For
You
sure.
feel what I'm saying? That some stuff's still in the works, so it's like, yeah, I mean, you got off a few hours of your time for real. Do a collab, link with somebody in your local area, a dope artist or whatever. Support somebody that you see doing something dope, and you never know the relationship that's gonna build out of it. You know what I mean? Or like the dope art that y'all can create together. You know what I'm saying? It might be bigger than it might be bigger than you. You know what I mean? It might grow to be bigger than what you alone could be, just because of the way that other individual or the other group you interact with, like accents that, you know what I mean, whatever you got going on. You never know.
Sure.
I mean, definitely stronger together. You
Yeah,
get what
yeah,
I mean? I think that's the best
what I'm saying.
attitude
We
to
gotta
have.
help each other get to where we need.
Everybody
man.
always want to
Like,
be for self, man. Everybody got to get out of that little crabs in a barrel mentality, all that. Like, just like, you know what I'm saying? It's like you said, it's a community thing. That's the whole premise of the podcast. We trying to link, you know what I mean, local DMV talent, put everybody together, link dope artists with dope producers, dope you know what I mean, everything.
And it's anybody that has like, an entrepreneurial
You don't even got to be in the
like,
music. I mean, you see, we got, you know what I'm saying, we got
education.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Like it doesn't. If you have anything there's so many people I've met, and I know that there's people out there that are doing cool things, like, and like maybe haven't had the opportunity to have an outlet to, you know what I'm saying, talk about it, share it with the people, man. Like, so come on and talk about it. That's all it is. But so I'm glad you guys came. You know what I mean? Like, because you guys we got a lot to talk about. So
definitely do.
But kind of bringing it back, like, so your favorite shoe. I was saying that as far as your shoes, man, I know you definitely. Every time I see you, I feel like you got the New Balance fucking. That model's the 990, right?
Yeah, man. These are the V4s right here.
Hell yeah. That color too.
Yeah, always.
Do you have multiple
always
pairs
gray.
of that color?
Yeah, I have I have 3 pairs of gray V4s. Definitely got at least 2-3 pairs of V3s. But the 993 is actually, that's my favorite.
That's your favorite kind?
Yeah,
Right.
That's my favorite kind. But
Tell
that's,
us about that. Is that something that's subject to this region? Like, is that a local thing? Is that a Baltimore thing?
Yeah, so New Balances, listen, I will argue with anybody from DC to the end of earth that New Balance is Baltimore. You get what I'm saying? But I have seen, a lot of evidence that people from DC were definitely rocking, New Balances a while ago. And I know that 991s were definitely popular because I think 990s, V3s, I think it might have been like 2004 maybe, or 993s might have been 2004. But basically when I was in school, anybody who was from Baltimore City was wearing polo, and then they were wearing, New Balances. And then
I had it for
well, and I'm sure a lot of the schools too, like out here in Baltimore, they had to wear a uniform. Like they probably had to wear the khakis, and just like with a regular, or like some type of polo with the New Balances, man. And it's like a timeless shoe, classic shoe.
The funniest thing, the thing that I enjoy most about New Balances is like you'll go out and of course we're getting fresh, we're wearing windbreakers and different things like that. And then you'll just see like an old ass man with the same shoes on that you have. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's like one of those things that kind of it bridges across cultures. You have like 15 young black kids, all New Balances. Yeah. And then you go to the old folks' home and they all have on New Balances too. So it's like a universal shoe.
You know what you told? I think something that you said last time you was over here about the style, about the fashion that stuck with me. You said that, now that you guys have this, the website up, you guys have some, your business is up, you guys are meeting with people, like you said, grown professional people. But you said that, you always try to keep it dapper, but you put your jiggy twist to it too, you know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
I definitely agree with that completely, man, because I love doing that. As far as just kind of, dressing dapper, but like still, looking fly as a mug.
I actually call it the young CEO look. That's what I'm always saying to my boy Fred. So, definitely throw on the khakis, definitely throw on, like a button down shirt with a sweater so you look appropriate. But you always got to throw your little spin on it,
Definitely. I mean, even what you got on right now too, man, you could still see an old white dude jogging down the street and then rocking that shit. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you said, the crossover, man. Like I love doing that shit. So
I got one of my favorite pictures online. Who used to really get fresh back in the 90s and nobody thinks about it? Hillary Clinton.
Hillary Clinton.
If you look up Hillary Clinton pictures from the 90s,
Bill Clinton too.
They're going for like jogs and straight Reebok tracksuits. Starter tracksuits, and I mean, it's just the look at the time.
Definitely.
And that look was universal for everybody, you know.
Didn't
Steve
Steve Jobs wasn't his part of his everyday wear the New Balances?
Steve Jobs wore a great pair of 998s every single day.
Every single day.
Yeah, with a black turtleneck.
Yeah. And I did do research. That turtleneck was made by the same designer, which is like a designer.
Every time.
I forget off the top of my head what designer it was, but it's definitely a high fashion designer black tee like made specially for Steve Jobs.
Wow.
He just had those, Like,
that's dope.
That's what it is with rich people, though. You know, it's like
rich, simple tee, but expensive.
Yeah, rich people are never trying to show off too much, you know? That's the one thing I can appreciate,
true,
you know? They have those pictures of like Bill Gates and Warren Buffett.
Yeah.
And they're like, I think the meme is not a Gucci belt in sight, you get what I'm saying?
That's cool.
Yeah.
You know who else I think who has that style as far as kind of like that real dapper but still jiggy style is like Nas, ASAP Nas. I don't know if you ever followed him or seen his fits, dude. Like,
Nas is definitely inspirational. I mean, the whole ASAP is inspirational.
Definitely.
And I'm definitely happy to see Ant now coming into his own.
Yes.
Because I'll even tell you guys something. So this had to be like 2013, maybe 2014. I was at Baltimore Soundstage and Flatbush Zombies was performing. And they got down to, it was Ant's time to perform one of his verses. And I remember like the Zombies, they were kind of surprised, but it was like Ant really wasn't getting the love that they expected.
Right.
And they even got on the mic. They were like, yo, like, he's from your hometown. And that's what we were talking about is like, people never want to link up. People never want to show any love.
Right.
So, it's like, everybody just, what it is, it's a popularity contest.
Yeah.
That's really what it is,
That's funny you mentioned that, man.
But Ant's coming into his own now, Marino Infantry.
Out here.
His music is doing amazing too.
You know what I mean? And it's outside of the mob. Like, it's not, it's a side of the mob. And it's all here, you know what I'm saying? And back to that community thing, he's bringing a lot of local talent, you know what I'm saying, to the forefront as well that I've never listened to, you know what I'm saying? So, like, big shouts out to Ant, you know what I mean?
And he's reaching out.
I saw he had the Marino. Yeah. He's reaching out to PG.
He's reaching out to
DC,
PG. And some of my favorite artists are from PG right now. A lot of my favorite artists are from PG.
Yeah,
Which ones?
Give us a few of them.
So, I mean, I'd probably say my favorite artist is Borleone right now. Yeah, Lord Borleone.
I'm hip. Yeah.
And he raps a Gunu, but it's like almost like a timeline on how I even found them. So you kind of got to take it all the way back to like when was Lil Yachty really coming out? It was like 2015, 2016. So I really wasn't listening to Lil Yachty like that, but he used to rap with a guy named K Supreme.
Yeah.
I don't know if you ever checked out
K Supreme. Hell yeah.
Yeah, so I really like K Supreme's music. And K Supreme used to rap with Slime Cito.
Yeah, Slime. Well, they're all from Atlanta, right?
Yeah. And Slime Cito.
Free him, right? I'm pretty sure he's locked up.
Yeah, I'm actually pretty sure that's true. But Slime Cito did a couple songs with Borleone. Yeah. And that's how it made it all the way. So,
I've seen, and that's why I've seen, I think I saw Slime Cito on a Spizzle tape, you know what I'm saying? So I was like, all right, that's where that connection comes from.
And that's
cool.
That's the best part about Atlanta is they're actually connecting different areas. So, just to get back to it and what you guys are trying to do here, I mean, that's what it is. It's about making that connection, how you make a connection from, Atlanta all the way to PG.
DC.
Yeah,
right.
PG, DC, and then getting back to Spizzle, doing the different tapes.
In Baltimore, you got ASAP in, bringing Baltimore in.
And Little Zelly. Lil Zelly, who I haven't really gotten into him that much, but I know that he's been on the Spizzle tape and he, he messes with Ant. Soda, definitely Soda. And you know what? I definitely gotta give a shout out to Basement Rap, Soda, Butch Dawson, and all of the people who were doing what they're doing now. I mean, these guys were working at it back in like 2004, 2005, 2006.
Dude,
you get what I'm saying? Black Zeke as well.
Crazy?
Yeah, they all were there. Like I think I told you guys, I was at the Billions of Currency opening in Fells Point. I mean, this was years ago.
What is that? Tell me what that is. I'm never even
so
heard of that.
now I don't think it's called Billions of Currency anymore. I think it's Currency Campaign is what they're doing now. I think they're doing more so like custom work. But at the time, there was a store in Fells Point called Pedestrian, PedX, and that was a store that used to sell things. You remember the website Karmaloop?
Yeah.
Remember that website?
Oh, yeah.
Right. So PedX used to sell the same things that you could find on Karmaloop.
Okay.
So things like Mishka, things like 10 Deep. So Fells Point was really like, you know, a big meeting place for anyone who was into art, fashion,
kind of that
different things
streetwear.
like that.
Yeah, that's
exactly.
like the street. Those are like some big streetwear brands at the time. You know,
And
what
the
I'm saying?
only reason why I was there was because of that older head that came into the Van store who was into skateboarding. So you see how like so many things come full circle.
Yeah.
And one of the guys who was working at the Van store with me, his name was Mike. I don't even know his last name. I don't know what he's doing now. But he used to rap and he went to Morgan. And there was a guy who used to come in all the time and just kind of talk to him like every couple of weeks. And they just keep on coming up with plans. Like, hey, bro, I got this going on. That person ended up being Currency Michaels, who started Billions of Currency. You know,
Gotcha.
now I think it's Currency Campaign
That's
now.
crazy.
You
That's
definitely
wild.
got to check it out. But
Yeah.
that's really how it is.
It's a store.
So Billions of Currency was a store at the time.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm not sure what they're doing now with it. But at the time, you had Pedestrian, and then like 3 doors down was Billions of Currency.
Okay.
And they had some of the. That was just a clothing line that was really killing it.
Yeah.
Back in the day, and that was definitely a place to be. And then
Yeah,
over west
not
was
even hip, man.
over west was City of Gods.
Right.
City of Gods. I don't know if you guys ever
Yeah,
heard of them.
yeah.
You see
Yeah.
me being out in Bel Air, how it is. Like, we wouldn't even know. Out there, you wouldn't even know any of that stuff was going on. You know what I'm saying?
And
Like,
we didn't even have the technology at the time.
But
I'm talking about MySpace at this
around
point.
the hope,
you know?
but still around at that time, I hope just from the mainstream was into that stuff, but did it always would be like, damn, wish we had a store out here that had fly ass streetwear or some shit like that, blah blah blah. Lo and behold, it's right, it's right there in the city, but we would never know. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
So I'm sure that that's like back to the premise of the podcast, just to highlight that stuff too. And then also back to the community, with the music. I mean, especially with like highlighting that PG DC area, you realize like a lot of those rappers are, they spit with the same flow. You know what I'm saying? And usually people would be like, oh damn, they're all biting each other, but they're not. They're all working with each other. So I mean, what do you think about that as far as kind of what they're doing and how they're like setting themselves apart?
To be honest with you, I think it's like the most ingenious strategy that I've ever seen music.
I agree.
Because, like you said, under normal circumstances, it would be interpreted as, oh, you're stealing my flow,
Right.
You're taking this, but finally, we don't have that attitude of, if I build you up, then that takes away from me.
Yeah.
And that's one of the
I did that
most-
flow first. You
Yeah,
can't
that's
rap
one of
like
that's
that.
one of the best parts about the DCPG music scene is they're not looking at each other like they're competing.
Yeah,
they
they're
recognize
making
that
one
if they
big
all
machine,
just
yeah.
work together,
Yeah.
they're creating an exclusive sound. You get what I mean? And that's one of the things that
And you
I don't.
can
It
say
just
that
it just
about
holds
Atlanta.
people back. You
Yeah.
know, it just holds people
Yeah.
back when you can realize that rather than competing with one another, when you can work with each other, you can really make some noise.
Yeah,
You know.
definitely. I feel like it's only going to be a matter of time where like they're going to get the spotlight. You know what I'm saying? So
And that flow is recognized as
it
their flow.
It is.
You know,
It
that is the PG, DC, DMV flow.
Yep.
If you're from the
DMV
outside,
flow. Yeah. Definitely crazy shit. You know what I mean? But I know you said you went to Towson, right?
yeah. So I went to Towson for my undergrad, and then I actually ended up going back to school.
Yeah.
And-
For graduate school?
Yeah, I actually went to graduate school, and I was in a joint program,
Yeah.
University of Baltimore.
Okay.
You know,
Are you still in it? Did you finish that or?
I'm done with school
You're
now,
done,
man.
yeah.
I'm an old man. That's
Yeah,
what it is.
hell
That's all
yeah.
I say.
How old are you, dude?
26.
26.
You ain't old, yeah.
I mean, I got you by a year. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah, that's not
I'll be 28 in a few months. For real.
28, yo.
But what's amazing about the position that we're in now is, like I said, I think that when I was growing up, it's like you kind of thought that once you were done with school, like, you were just done.
Yeah.
But it's like now we have the ability to continue to do creative things and to build on our talents.
Yo.
And a lot of us are trying to use our talents to make money, and trying to turn that into a career.
Yeah, and that's the goal, man. Just like I was telling you guys before, like I just started having ideas. Like I started, going to different places, meeting different people. Shouts out to Sandman, because if she didn't know you, didn't invite you to we wouldn't have met. Maybe we would have met at New York. Luckily, that all brought us together there. But like, not even just that, just meeting a whole bunch of different people that are doing cool shit. Get them together, and be able to chop it up. But is like I'm seeing them do that. Do their thing. You guys are doing your thing, and I just have this idea. Like I feel like I'm always immersed in the culture. And like I was saying, like just being a consumer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like I just wanted to kind of get out of that mentality and come think of some way to contribute, to the culture. And I feel like this is the perfect way to do it.
I think you guys are contributing in the best way because you're providing the missing piece, and that's what it is a lot of times. Like, you have someone working on something over here, you have something working on something over here, and you just need somebody to make that connection. I mean, if you even think about the culture itself, just my personal opinion, I think some of the best clothes and shoes that have been coming out recently are collaborations.
Yeah.
Name a few.
Well, you heard of Pierre Moss? Pierre Moss. So
put me on.
I actually don't know the name of the designer, but Pierre Moss has done some collaborations with Reebok. It's a black-owned business.
Okay.
And they're coming out with some of the toughest shoes out right now. Coming out with tough windbreakers. And Reebok, when I think of Reebok, it's like Nike, Adidas, you get what I'm saying?
Definitely.
But Pierre Moss, man, if you check out Pierre Moss black-owned business, this guy's taking Reebok to the next level right now. You definitely want to check him out and what he's doing.
Definitely will have to check it out.
Definitely.
I'm checking it out now.
And matter of fact, speaking of collabs, let me take the time to give a shout out to someone who I went to Towson with, a good friend of mine, my boy Sir Shet and Suavor. He just did a collaboration shoe with Nike, but it's through an additional third party. It's forget what it is. It's I forget what that additional name was called. But it's a Nike collaboration. But this guy did an Air Max 95.
Right.
Oh, you got the Pierre Moss there.
Yeah, shit.
Crazy.
Yeah.
But so what my boy Shaq did was
Raph
he came
Simmons
out with an
shit.
Air Max 95. And the colorway that he came up with was he went to school in London for a little while, and it's like his primary school colorway that he did.
They were like the black and like royal blue.
Exactly.
It's just for fire too.
So he's really doing a lot, and he did a lot for me as well. Just as being someone who pushes the culture, someone who includes other people in what he does. And he's just setting an example for really anybody who has an idea. You just gotta push forward, keep working.
Yeah,
he's got a great blueprint.
Yeah, definitely, man. I saw the shoe. I do remember. You said he went to Towson. I do remember seeing him at school while I was there. Like I said, I was there at the same time you guys were there. But I was gonna ask back with the Towson thing. I was gonna ask, how was your time at Towson? Like as far as did you have a good time, or was it just mostly focused on the school? You know what I mean? Focused on getting good grades and getting the fuck out.
Yeah.
But did you have a good time?
Yeah, I had a really good time at Towson, and I know that one of the things a lot of people talk about, going to a PWI, a lot of people can get focused on, some of the more negative aspects of it.
When you say PWI, explain.
Predominantly white institution.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? It's an argument people like to have on Twitter a lot.
Yeah.
Predominantly white institution versus HBCU, whether or not you're really getting a good college experience and different things like that. But one thing I'll say, you have a main goal for everything, but then you also have different opportunities to make the most out of what you have.
Yeah.
So, of course, when you go to college, of course, the main goal is to graduate, get a good job, et cetera, et cetera. But like I said, I learned so much else from being in college. And most of the people who were at Towson, we had a whole bunch of people from New York, New Jersey, people who, a culture that you just don't really even know about. We had people from down south. Like my best friend in college was from South Carolina. My other best friend was from DC, the city part of DC, and constantly arguing about, Go-Go's trash versus Baltimore club music and different things like that. But, college did a lot for me, and Towson specifically, it was just in a good location in terms of really bringing a lot of things together.
I agree.
Because you saw like the demographics that we had at Towson.
Yeah, I agree.
It just brought in so many different people from so many different regions. You know, I didn't even know what PG was until I got to Towson.
Most people that I met when I was at Towson were, like you said, from New York, New Jersey.
Yeah.
And then a lot of people were from PG, DC,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? But like I said, when I went, even though I was a commuter, I met some of those people, and we were maybe a night I was spending out, I was out in DC meeting new people, or I was out in Baltimore, you know what I mean, running around with Sandy and them and her friends going to the Crown for the first time, you know what I'm saying? Like stuff like that. Like there's a lot of culture, in this city, in Baltimore, but back to Towson, yeah, like there was all of that there.
So,
you know what I mean? So
like that said, like that's the both of y'all since y'all both went there. So like saying that it was so many different, basically cultures and people from different.
I would have to rephrase it. It's like pockets. I wouldn't say there was a whole lot, but it was
enough.
Like it was
enough.
It was definitely
to make it
enough.
diverse.
So did any of did any of y'all pick up anything like stylistically, like influence from anybody? Like you said, people from like down south, people from up. Like did like y'all pick up any like being into the culture?
See, now
like
I wouldn't
fashion
say.
that
I wouldn't
y'all
say.
into?
Well, you know what?
You pick
that
up
gets
any, you know what I mean?
Actually, you know what? I met a kid. I'm not gonna say his name, but a kid that was in my class that was definitely big into graffiti culture, like real graffiti culture. You know what I'm saying? And I remember one time, like he had taken me. I went out like after class at Towson, like. I just chill with him. We rolled, we definitely, had the pack on us, rolled up. But this motherfucker took me on an adventure, bro. Like on a real graffiti adventure, like benching, like what they call benching, going out to the tracks in the city, waiting for trains to come. He had we had gone to this crazy train, whatever, this tunnel. Yeah. Like he was tagging out there. But like through him, I met a whole, that's a whole culture in itself that I would have. Never, you know what I mean? And I learned a lot about graffiti art and that culture that, people don't know at all. You know what I'm saying? Like which is cool. Well, just as far as like, I feel like a lot of people, like my parents, would misconstrue graffitiing for like gang culture. You know what I'm saying? And maybe like graffiti art there's definitely cliques, and there's definitely like rules to it. You know what I mean?
So much art. There's so much of graffiti is artistic. Yeah, and I hear you on people looking at it the wrong way.
Like if you it can get serious as far as violent if you like write over somebody's work, you know what I mean? And people do that. But I feel like me growing up looking at graffiti, I always contributed to like actual like gangs, you know what I'm saying?
I always wanted to try.
It's all art. Everybody has writes their own tag, and that's what they write, and like it's a whole culture, you know what I'm saying? Like he took me to like different graffiti parties. Like you ever heard of the what's that place in Baltimore? The Graffiti Alley. Or Graffiti Alley.
Which is right down the street from the Crown.
Yeah, it's right in that area, man. Went over there, spent hours in there. Like I was even spray painting shit. You know what I'm saying? Like it was cool. So shouts out to him, man.
You ever seen the movie Beat Street?
Beat Street?
Nah.
Oh my god.
I may have heard of that, but
Beat Street. No, definitely put that on the list.
What's that about?
That's about New York graffiti culture, breakdancing culture in the 80s.
Yeah.
It's got a crazy story behind it. But that's one of those movies that I said that's a movie for the culture.
Yeah,
like that's sure. Like I
love those movies.
Yeah, that's you got hood movies.
Yeah,
Beat Street is one of those movies like for art. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Definitely.
You ever seen Kids?
Of course, yeah.
I know you. Have you seen Kids, Sean?
Nah.
I know Jordan. I know. Yeah, that's one of those culture movies. You feel me?
I mean, rest in peace to Mac Miller for sure.
Definitely.
Rest in peace to Mac Miller.
Well, he brought obviously that tape. You know what I mean? Like that's what brought me to it. You know what I mean? Did that bring you to it?
I think that's the reason why I decided to check the movie out. Like,
I'm pretty sure that
watch
brought
the movie until after Mac Miller. But Kool-Aid and frozen pizza was my alarm my freshman year.
Okay,
I woke up every single
Mac
day.
Miller,
man. Rest in peace to Mac Miller. Sad story,
That's
man.
super sad. I can't believe that he passed, man, like that. But yeah, as far as kids, that's another one of those. I mean, that'll give you a good look into how skateboard culture was.
That's true. Bringing back the mid-90s culture.
You know what I'm saying? And tag falling back to some of the people that were involved in making that film. Supreme, you know what I'm saying? The brand that is known to be, right?
Put me on, Supreme.
There's a lot of people, a lot of kids like Harold Hunter, like the black kid that's in the black skateboarder that's in that movie. There's a lot of people in that film that was Supreme's first team, like their skate team. You know what I'm saying?
I had no idea.
So like a lot of people, as far as like some of the photography, like if you ever heard of Larry Clark, like a lot of the photography that Supreme has put on some of their clothes now is, you know, from the guy who made Kids. You know what I'm saying? So stuff like that. Like in that film, one time I seen somebody with the fucking box logo, yo, like a Supreme box logo. That movie came out in 95. Supreme opened in 94. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Crazy shit. Like,
and you know, that movie, it wasn't just for entertainment, because the movie Kids, it touched on a lot of like crazy issues. You know, touched on like HIV and AIDS. You know what I'm saying?
Just
it touched on a lot of important things. You know,
not having parents, not having a dad. You know, they were just on their own in the city, like do whatever the fuck they wanted. But with that came some harsh ass consequences. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, definitely. But yeah, we back, man. This has been a great conversation. You know what I'm saying? We're back. Definitely talked about a lot of cool things. But I wanted to get back in it, man. Get kind of back into the sneaker game. I know we kind of started off with the New Balances, but like as far as, you know, other sneakers growing up, like what are some of your favorites? As far as, I mean, you can go, you know, you can start with the model, but I'm gonna actually start with the brand, then break down the model. You know what I'm saying?
And I can even tell you the sneakers that I had in a row, because like of course, me coming from Jamaica as an immigrant, also being raised by a single mom, like, you know, we definitely didn't have a lot of bread at first, and I'll say like I didn't really have access to a lot of the resources that other people had until like 7th grade. And I even remember my first pair of my first pair of shoes when I came to America. It was actually a pair of cleats that my mom got me at the flea market.
Yeah.
And she said that I just wanted them.
What color were they?
They were black. They were Eastons, I think.
Word.
But I used to be like click-clacking down the hall in 1st grade.
Straight from Jamaica.
Straight from Jamaica.
Yeah,
you know, got these
crazy.
flea market kicks on. You get what I'm saying? But the first pair of sneakers that I really had was I had the Obsidian Jordan 6s. And that was in like 2nd grade. I think those came out, I don't know, it might came out like 99 or something like that.
Is that are they blue? Are they like white?
Yeah, they were white and blue.
Ones?
They were white and blue.
Yeah.
White and blue 6s.
Yeah.
And then when I was in 3rd grade, I actually had the Bred 11s. But you know, I'm wearing kid size, so they were cheaper, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right, so that's how I actually started off with just loving Jordans. That was like my first pair that I really liked.
You was in it early, no funny shit. This not
Definitely.
we've been doing this shit, man. Like, yeah, that's what's up.
And then just you know, Baltimore was big, especially what was really big in Baltimore was the dope dealers. You know, we call phone posits dope dealers.
And my favorite ones is the eggplants. That's the only pair I have and ever owned was the eggplants.
So the only pair I have the Jim Greens.
Okay.
You remember the Jim Greens? They kind of look like the Coppers, but they were like a little bit darker. And then they kind of had like a little bit of a green.
Were they kind of like an iridescent, like kind of changed color?
Yeah, just a little bit. But those were the phone posit pros though.
So they had the check. Did they have the big check or the small check? No. One of them didn't have a check, right?
Yeah, so I mean, you got the regular phone posits, like the eggplants that you have, don't have the check. And then if you get the phone posit pros, they have the check on them. Yeah. But the big, I mean, of course, the eggplants being from Baltimore, the purple ones, you know, that's going to be the biggest one. But I remember what came out when I was in high school, the MF Doom phone posits. They were black and white pros.
For real?
White sole, white check. And I remember anybody that had those were like, coolest person in school.
And they were a black shoe, white check,
white sole.
That's the ones that Jordan wanted, yo.
Yeah, MF Dooms.
That's the ones that Jordan wanted, yo. Like, I don't know, he didn't count them. He should have counted them, yo.
Yeah.
Damn.
Well, phone posits, I mean, I think it was like, I think it was just the price. That's why we always called them the dope dealers, because you really had to be a dope dealer to afford phone posits, you know?
That's crazy, man.
Hefty price.
And they went up too. They still going up. But as far as like resale value, it's not. I don't think it's as big as it was back in the day.
I doubt it, but I won't be surprised if it come back.
You just paying a ticket for them. You know what I'm saying?
You know what they did, Bo? They ruined phone posits though. You remember when they started coming out with those crazy colors?
They just came out with too much.
Like
shit.
I think when those Weatherman phone posits came out, I was like,
you're done, right?
Done. Right. There's no point in even getting these anymore. Like
I think the last crazy hype foam that they came out with was those Galaxies. I don't know if you remember when the Galaxies came out. People were fucking killing each other for them shits.
Everybody
but those were dope though, you know what I mean? But those Weatherman ones, like what the fuck you gonna rock with those? Like
Nah, but you know when Nike was coming out with like the Galaxies, I feel like that was like the last of like the good sneaker era. You get what I'm saying? Before it got into just about reselling. That was when you had like just the love for the shoe.
Yeah.
Because they came out with those Galaxy Kobe's, and you remember the Galaxy LeBrons?
Yeah.
Like the LeBron 9s were like the very last LeBrons when people who had love for shoes were copping.
Right.
Before all of the kids with a whole bunch of money came in.
Yeah.
Copping up
Copped
5
them
pairs
all
and
up.
reselling.
And then
it all ended right
the
there.
game up, you know what I'm saying?
Now that's
You know what I mean?
culture.
For some people, it made them rich as hell. Still making little kids rich as hell. Like that, I'm always like amazed at like the resale culture. You know, the hype beast culture.
Yeah, I know somebody in that resale shoe culture.
I mean,
they be making out.
which is
South Beach for LeBron.
yeah.
Well, we don't have to talk
Are you
about
in the-
that because you know I still have mine. I still
With the
have
South,
mine.
the South Beaches.
I have the South.
Those are rare though, right?
It was South Beach was
Yeah.
the name of the 8s. South Beach was the official name for the 8s, but they were called like Vice 9s.
Yeah.
So I actually still have
Those
my
are
Vice
rare
9
though,
LeBrons.
right? Like I'm pretty sure those were some rare ones.
I actually tried to resell them. I tried to
Yeah.
get into the resale game,
Yeah.
but then the postal service lost my
That's the
shipment. I
shit
had to give the money
But
back.
now check, we
man.
got the outlets like the StockX. You can sell your shit through them.
Yeah.
For a little price cut. You know what I mean? But what about SBs? Are you into SBs?
No, so I'm not gonna lie, I never really got into SBs, but I did have a pair of SB Blazers.
Yeah.
What was,
me too. I love Blazers.
What was that guy who started coming out with Steven Janoski? You remember
Oh,
those
yeah.
topsider looking Nike
Yup,
skateboard
yup.
shoes?
Yeah.
Those definitely made like a huge impression on me.
Yeah.
And a lot of other sneaker companies started like coming out with their own version
That
of like
version of
topsider
that.
looking shoes.
Yeah,
Every time,
definitely.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's a huge one. The Stephen Janowski's.
Stephen
for sure.
Janoski, yeah.
But the my favorite probably as far as SBs are definitely the Blazers.
Yeah.
I got a pair of lows and I got a pair of like mids, and then of course the dunks, man. You can never go wrong with dunks.
You know who was
Yeah,
killing the game with the SBs? I feel like Wale was so early
yeah,
on
dude.
SBs. And you
I
got
mean,
to
the
shout
rare
out
ones,
Wale.
dude,
You
like
have to shout
dunks.
out Wale.
Yeah, though you go on StockX and type in some of these premium like hype dunks. They're going for a pretty.
No,
penny,
because I be
man.
looking
Pretty
at some
penny.
of them, you know,
Yeah.
like, because I like dunks. But
Yeah. For sure.
Well, forget what pair of dunks like really set the game on fire. I feel like it was like those pigeons. You remember those pigeon dunks that came out?
Oh yeah.
Those
That's definitely one of
definitely-
them. The Freddy Kruegers, the skunk. The skunks are definitely a hype one.
Those are those had like 2 shades of green and then like a shade of purple, right?
The skunks.
The skunks.
Yeah,
I do.
Kinda,
I definitely remember those.
But the fabric, it was like that. I don't know if it was like wool hair, it was like some type of weird ass, fabric on it. The dunks, so like the one that came
With every little bit of everything.
Like both shoes were different. You know what I'm saying?
you know who has good colorways though? Definitely Kevin Durant.
Oh yeah.
Kevin Durant
dude.
came with the colorways.
My favorite Kevin Durant, I forget which model or what number it was, but the floral ones, the low top, the floral, they were
was
like a
probably
bluish.
I think they were the
floral.
6s. Yeah.
Were they the 6s? You know what I'm
I
talking
feel
about?
like they were the
Yeah.
6s.
I fuck with those. But going into the shoes as well, I know you told us about earlier was like with your brand and your art page, you got retro cards.
Yeah.
You know
So
what
I
I'm saying?
actually got some right here, man.
Yeah.
Check one of these.
I got some of these retro cards.
Hell
So just to give you the background story on the retro cards, for the website, we wanted to include something as a gift almost to give to people anytime that they made orders. And we were trying our best to come up with something that, something that was collectible, something that people could kind of appreciate and also like. And me and my boy Fred, we were actually arguing over what in the world we could put into the packaging. And then I just started looking around my room and I had a Jordan 8 retro card that I kept tacked to my wall.
Yeah.
And that's actually where the inspiration comes from. If you remember getting Jordans back in the day, I don't know if they still include the retro cards,
Nah.
but they'd show you all the Jordans, like 1 through, at the time, probably like 18.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? But they'd show you all the Jordans and they highlight the one that you have.
Right.
And they'd give you some
A
information.
little description about it.
Yeah, shouts to Tinker Hatfield because he's the
Yeah.
one who came out with some of the hardest Jordans
Hell
that
yeah.
ever came out.
Yeah.
So that's really what the inspiration is behind these. So have the 3D logo of my website, moreknowledge.com. And then on the back, these are actually disposable film photos from a photo shoot that we did for the website. So we're trying to bring everything together. So 3500 Dendretti, just to get back to it. It's an art page. We're posting disposable film shots. The inspiration is based on the people and the photographers that I met in France. And I'm doing it for more knowledge. I'm doing it for this right here, SPNF, this tracksuit.
Yes.
And we're also open to any type of collaborations because I really just want to, really what it is you want to like memorialize what we've been doing. You know, this is something that you can keep and you can always look back on.
Hell yeah.
And it's just a collectible. So
that name though, the 35, what is it, 3500, what?
3500 Dendretti.
Dendretti,
yeah. Where's
The
that?
Dendretti, that's just some fly shit. Like
So
some fly nigga
we're gonna end up getting back into music now because my favorite rapper of all time, arguably, is Currency. And you know, there you go, Jets, definitely.
You feel me?
Yeah, and so you know, Spitter's other name is Spitter Andretti.
Yes,
you
sir.
get what I mean? Inspired by Mario Andretti.
Right,
so that's
right.
really where it comes from. And I think on MySpace, I think my name used to be Tommy Versetti. You remember Tommy Versetti from Vice City?
Yeah.
Yeah. You got photos with Currency, yeah.
Yeah, I think you posted earlier.
Yeah.
That shit's dope.
And just to talk about how things go full circle, that now I finally remember the reason why me and that older guy like had something to, you know, like have a meeting of minds on when I was working at Vans. His favorite rapper was Currency.
Gotcha.
And that's actually
Wow.
why we were able to get so. It's crazy that I'm just remembering this right
That's what-
now.
That's
I'm
funny.
telling you, it's divine spirit.
In the
dude.
middle of this podcast.
You know what I
That's
mean?
actually what it was.
Yeah.
I just so happened to be listening to Currency. So when I was like 13, I used to listen to Wiz a lot.
Yeah.
Like I was listening to Wiz when he got his first tattoo. Like people now look at Wiz, you know, tattoos from top to bottom. But I was listening to Wiz like when he went to his senior prom.
Yeah.
Wiz used to wear like 2 gold earrings in his ear, long black tee from top to bottom. Used to rap about guns.
What tape? I'm trying to think, dude.
The tape that he and Currency did was How Fly.
That was How Fly. I'm talking about the area you're talking about. I know some of the tapes,
listen, bro. Deal or No Deal.
Yeah, Deal or No
Show
Deal.
and Prove.
Star
Prince of the
Power.
City 1
Yeah,
and
Prince of the
2.
City. Those are the
So
early
it was
ones,
Prince
yeah.
of the City that got me on the Wiz.
Yeah,
It was
those are
Prince
the
of
early
City.
ones. Those are like the, you know what I'm saying, his high school days, you know what I'm saying? But
Flicking Ashes, Take a Ride, Bust Down. Those are the songs that like really define
shouts out to
me in high
all,
school.
shouts out to them, dude.
Yeah, no, bro.
'Cause I could-
Wiz and Currency, definitely.
I could definitely vouch, you know, for that around. I would say my time getting into Wiz and Spitter was definitely like 09,
Yeah. I'd say
2010, you know what I'm saying? And like just the
I think
shit
How
that they
Fly
were
came out in
spitting.
2009.
Yeah, How Fly came out in 09. I remember Wiz Khalifa had that big hit, you know, radio hit before he did the
Say
underground
Yeah.
shit. Yeah,
Say
Say
Yeah.
Yeah.
That beat was hard.
You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? I heard that and I knew
Shit.
that shit was just like different.
Yeah.
You feel me? And then like didn't hear from Wiz again. You know what I'm saying? But then started to kind of dive deeper into the underground and started seeing those mixtapes. He's dropping tape after tape, and then all of a sudden he collabs with Spitta, who we all know from, you know, Young Money. You know what I'm saying?
So this is the crazy
So, like-
part. You know, Spitter was on wasn't he on Where the Cash At with Lil Wayne?
Yeah.
So that I think that came out like 05 or 06. So I definitely knew Spitter from that song. And then I didn't hear anything about him.
Yeah.
And then it was one day, I still remember to this day, I was on the bus coming home from school. I'm bumping Wiz, How Fly came out. And then I'm just listening to this guy who's on the feature. And I'm like, bro, like this guy's killing this
Yeah,
song. Like,
dude.
who the hell is this?
Yes.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it ended up being Spitter. I'm like, is this Spitter from Where the Cash At?
Hell
And
yeah.
that's really what it was. Like,
It's
that's how
crazy.
I got right on the Spitter.
It was like you would see him on Young Money, and then after Dedication 3, I think Wayne was dissing Spitta, you know what I'm saying? And then, no, you didn't hear nothing from Spitta. And then all of a sudden, I don't know if it was 08, 09, every month Spitta dropped a different tape.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Independence Day,
Yup.
Higher Than 30,000 Feet,
Fear and
Loathing in New Orleans, Super Tecmo Bowl.
Super Tecmo Bowl.
Man.
He
My
had one
favorite
called
Spitter
Finn.
tape-
He had one Finn.
That was the one.
Yeah,
Finn was
that-
the one. You
Yup,
know what was
yup.
on there? You remember the song New Day?
Yup,
That was
yup,
my song on.
How, dude, he got on so many different Jay-Z beats, so many NERD beats. Spitta's that nigga, man, and he's my favorite rapper too.
And that was really like that was Wayne's formula when he was coming out with all those mixtapes. He'd do other people's beats, and that's exactly what Spitta did.
Yeah,
He would
yup.
get on other people's
People
beats
don't
and
even know
crush it.
Spitta before Young Money. Spitta was on No Limit. You know what I'm
504
saying? He was on
Boys.
504 Boys.
Yeah.
With, you know what I mean? Like, it's crazy shit. But that era kind of got me to where I am now as far as just like culture, you know, underground, just
That was
everything.
the real underground.
You know what
that
I'm
was
saying?
before the underground went viral.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. And Spitter was just talking all that real shit. I mean, before when on Young Money he's talking about guns and drugs and killing motherfuckers, he just goes to talking about what he fucking does on a regular basis. Get high, you know what I'm saying?
Vintage cars,
Cop
weed.
kicks, vintage cars, dogs and shit. But saying it in the most realest, flyest way.
And Spitter was on the SB Dunks too, because he used to
Yeah.
hang out with, you know, Terry Kennedy.
Hell
and
yeah,
everything
he was
like
on
that.
it. He was definitely on the skateboard.
Spitter's the
on
GOAT.
that skateboard.
He's definitely one of the
GOAT.
GOATs. He's definitely
Shouts
one
to
of the
Spitter,
GOATs. He
man.
might be the underground GOAT.
He's definitely the underground GOAT, underground king. People don't know, man. And everything he has, he did it independent. Like, you know what I mean? All those cars, all that, he's living the real dream. You know what I'm saying?
Can't
Like,
even bring up Spitter without talking about his cars, man.
Hell yeah.
And
You
he
like
has
that
some,
old
he has
school
some of my
vibe?
favorite cars too.
Yeah, which ones? Which
He
ones?
said he got like 35. He got like 35, yo.
I
He has a lot of
believe
Vips,
it.
dude.
I could believe it.
Yeah.
But like, he has two 96 Impalas.
Yeah, the 96 Impala.
96 Impala
It's
is
a
definitely
mean
one of my favorite cars. And then my favorite car of all time is actually the El Camino.
Okay.
And I just put my boy Fred onto the El Camino the other
Yeah,
day.
yeah.
Spitter has an El Camino, that's SS. Pretty sure he has a 65 Impala. He got the 64 Impala.
Mm-hmm. He has a crazy, I forget what year it is, but a crazy ass Camaro. I forget what year it is though. And then I know he definitely has a lot of box Chevys, and that would be my car. Like if I had enough money to restore an old school car,
Yeah.
it would either be a box Chevy, like a Caprice,
Malibu,
or it would be
yeah.
like what is that? A Lincoln? I don't know, but that box style car, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Put that shit on some Dayton's. You know what I mean? That's how I would do
Call it a day.
Yeah, hell yeah.
But you got to shout out when it comes to the car culture, so you got to shout out Snoop.
Oh yeah.
You have to
for
shout out
He's
Snoop.
a big one, definitely.
Yeah, with the spoke rims, that's definitely
Hell yeah.
that's definitely
Crazy
all
ass
Snoop.
paint. You know what I'm saying? Crazy ass candy paint with the graphics. You know what I mean? Like definitely. I remember Snoop had that. I don't know if it was a 6'4" Impala too, with the Lakers inspired, the yellow. You remember seeing that shit on MTV? Like
Yeah, I feel like I did, especially around the Cribs time.
yeah,
like when MTV
yeah. He used to
Cribs
show
was
that
big.
shit off a lot. He used to show that shit off. Also, as far as like some of the music, what kind of music are you listening to right now? I mean, I know we did talk about the whole DMV wave. I'm bumping a lot of that shit. You know what I'm saying right now.
Baby 50.
Baby,
you know,
you put me on Baby 50, dude. Like,
we were listening to Baby 50 in New York. Shout out to
you
Baby 50.
played that shit. I was like, this nigga can tell. He's the truth, yeah. Like, and then with like listening to some more tracks, like I've ripped all those tracks off YouTube and put them on my iPod.
Definitely,
you know what I'm saying?
definitely.
So like it's in rotation.
I mean, he's just got the energy that the young boys have right now.
Yeah.
You know, he's definitely got the energy. So
Yeah.
does Money Mar. Definitely
Money
has
Mar's
that young boy
shouts
energy.
out to Money Mar. Shouts out to Baby 50, Baby Nino. People I bump heavy. Rudy Cash.
I think I saw Baby Nino at an ASAP Ant concert actually, like not too long ago.
Yeah,
I
these are
definitely
all-
like him.
I know Baby Nino. He's definitely PG. He's on the Maryland side.
You know what though? Before, because we're just naming PG rappers, can I just go down the list of like
Yeah.
the Baltimore rappers?
Yeah,
Just
please.
for
Yeah,
anybody.
'cause that's where we at.
Yeah,
man.
anybody who needs to check out the Baltimore rappers. So before we get any further, have to say rest in peace to Lord Scooter,
Yeah, definitely.
who definitely performed at the Crown, which is bananas
Mm-hmm.
for the Crown to have Lord Scooter perform.
Yeah.
So that was like one of the
Legendary.
biggest days. Yeah, that was a
Yeah.
legendary day. But Lord Scooter, G-Rock 2 Clocks, who might be someone who you never even heard about, but he has like one of my favorite songs that's still on SoundCloud. It's called Riding.
Okay.
G-Rock 2 Clocks, Young Moose, definitely.
Okay. Yeah, definitely him.
Young Moose, President Davo, one of the biggest rappers. One of the biggest rappers right now that's actually like really making noise. You know, you got Band Hunter Izzy.
Yeah, shout out to Band
Yeah,
Hunter Izzy.
Band
man.
Hunter Izzy's definitely making noise.
Band Hunter Jug, his brother.
Yeah, Jug.
Yes.
I haven't checked out his music in particular,
I-
but I know he's
so
collabed with
good.
Izzy a few times.
Yeah, yeah.
You have YGG Tay, which you can't mention Baltimore without mentioning YGG Tay.
Are you familiar with Lil Charlie? Like passed away.
Yeah,
rest in
he
peace?
just-
yeah.
And man, it's so sad
He
when
got
you
a
think
song
about
with
how much
Beautiful,
talent.
yeah. Like
I do remember
Yeah.
that video. But you can't even bring up the music without talking about the violence, because it took away so many different people who had a lot going. You
Definitely,
know,
man.
there was a dude named Nick Breed. I think he got killed like a couple years ago. He really wasn't that well known, but I definitely was listening to him. YBS Skol is locked up right now.
Yeah,
he had a
is.
huge banger with Ballin'.